Hi, I'm Jessica. Welcome to my channel, and welcome back if you have already been here. I have been trying to conceive for 18 months, and during that 18 months I've done a lot of research, and I've tracked a lot of different symptoms and things. I've also done a lot of studies on things to help improve fertility and different ways to try to conceive. I am gonna talk to you about when I decided to start trying. So I started try to get pregnant. It was September, like a year and a half ago, so 18 months ago. I decided I wanted to get pregnant a couple months prior to actually taking out my IUD. I had a mirena IUD in for almost 3 years, and then during that time, the first 6 months or so of having it, between 6 months and a year, I was married and I got divorced. He left me for somebody else, and just a story for another time. But I was gonna say, so me and my children discussed, because I am a single mom, discussed rather we were ready to bring another little one into our lives, and whatnot, and we talked about it, and we all agreed that yes, that's what we want to do, and that I'm gonna continue to be a single mom, and that we'll just do it on our own. And so I took out my IUD. I first talked to the doctor originally, and they said it'd take about a month and a half to get an appointment. And I didn't want to wait a month and a half to start trying. I wanted to be able to start trying right away. And I knew that if I started trying right away, it may not work out, because sometimes it takes a while for those hormones to get out of your body. They explained to me that the IUD isn't like that it would happen right away. But when I did had the IUD in, I got it done at a Planned Parenthood, and they left the strings long enough that they told me if I wanted to take it out at any point I could. And so I reached up there and I grabbed the strings, which are very slippery, and pulled down steady, like in a steady motion. Just pinch it and pull down steady and firm. And then it just pops out. It was not painful or anything. I know getting the IUD in is very painful. I went to Planned Parenthood and got mine put in, and it was super painful. So, yeah, but getting it taken out is not painful. I did mine myself at home. I did YouTube it first. I know, not really the best idea, but I did YouTube it first, and I watched several different people do that, and just explain that you pull it out steady and firm, and that there was no complications or anything else. And so yeah, I took it out. It all came out in one piece the way it's supposed to, and yeah, so then I started trying to get pregnant right away. I think it was like 2 weeks later. So I took it out, and about 2 weeks later I got a period. And then about 2 weeks after that, I ovulated, and it was a strong ovulation. I did OPKs, and when I got strong ovulation, I baby danced with one of my friends. He is more like a known donor to me. He knows what I want, and that I want to have a baby on my own, and that I don't want him involved, that, I want what's best for the baby. And because we're not a couple, I feel like being a single mom on my own is going to make me happier, and in the end make him happier. I had a lot of issues with my other children, and a court battle of custody and all that, and I don't want to deal with that again. So I just want to do it on my own. And I have other reasons too, but that's the main one, is I just want to not have to share the baby. I want to be able to nurse it for a year and not have any issues with it, and whatnot. So anyway, I conceived right away. So like I said, I took it out. 2 weeks later, I ovulated. I baby danced, and then I had my period, and then 2 weeks later, ovulated, baby danced, and then about a week and a half or so later, so 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. And I got pregnant right away. I carried that pregnancy for 5 to 6 weeks, and then I miscarried, unfortunately. And the doctor said it was probably from my lining not being very thick. The IUD made the lining pretty much be non-existent, and I didn't have periods the entire time I was on the IUD after the first couple months of being on it. So, anyway, I was really bummed out about having a miscarriage, but it was very early on, so, I mean, it was okay, but it sucked. So I tried again immediately the next month, and with the same donor, and it was successful again. That month, or that cycle, I was trying to conceive twins. Well, if it would have happened, I would have been happy, but if I would have just got one, I would have been happy too. So when I say I was trying to conceive twins, I had researched a lot of ways to try to conceive twins, and I'll probably make another video about that, like detail for detail, but I was eating a lot of cassava root, which is known for causing twin pregnancy, and whatnot. So I ate a ton of cassava root, and that was the only thing I did differently, really. And then I baby danced again, and I ended up pregnant. That time, my symptoms were like a little bit different. Like I felt like I had a metal taste in my mouth. I got nauseous like within a week of like conception. And so I knew it felt a little different, but I figured it was like, every pregnancy is different. I didn't think too much about it. I went and got my HCG drawn like that next week, and my numbers were pretty good. Then they had me come in 2 days later, and they didn't go up as much as they were supposed to. They only went up like half of what they were supposed to, which was kind of discouraging. And then I started bleeding, and then they had me come in again and do more blood work, and my number had dropped. And so I'm like, great, now I'm miscarrying again, 2 months in a row, and that's really sucky. And then the number, they had me come in 2 days later to make sure it was like getting rid of it naturally, if that's what was happening, and the number had dropped again. And then I went in 2 days later, and the number rose, which they thought that meant that it was going to be fine or something. Like, they didn't know what was going on. They had never seen that before. So then it dropped again, then it rose again, and then it rose again, and then it dropped again. So they knew something was wrong, they just didn't know what. So after like trying to figure it out, the doctor said that I lost the one twin, and then about a month later I lost the other twin. So that's why the HCG was going up and down, because as I was losing one baby, the other one was doing fine. They think that it might have been in my tube, though, and it might have been causing the levels to go up and down the way they were. But he said he had never seen anything like that before, but that was the only explanation he could give me. And then after that, I was really, really devastated. I mean, to have 3 miscarriages, technically it was 2 pregnancies, but it was 3 miscarriages, and not back to back. It was really, really hard, and I just really, really wanted it, and I was really bummed out when it didn't work out. So, yeah. And then I continued to try, and I tracked everything. I did everything perfectly with tracking, baby dancing, using OPKs, everything, and I just wasn't getting pregnant again. So I talked to the doctor, got a checkup, all my blood work done. I've had my blood work done like 3 or 4 times. I did a HSG. I did tons of different stuff. I got a lot of different testing done. Finally, they did an ultrasound, checked it out, it was fine. Then I got put on Clomid for 5 months, and the Clomid, I never got pregnant on it the whole time. And they even upped the dose. I went from 2 months of 50 to 2 months of 100, and then 1 month of 150. And I still didn't get pregnant. And so that was really bummed out. And then they did another ultrasound, and they saw a lot. Oh, on my last Clomid round, the 150 milligrams, is when they did my ultrasound. So they said I had PCOS and a lot of cysts on my ovaries, but they knew it was a Clomid around. So on the report it says it could be from Clomid or it could be from PCOS. So instead of rechecking when I wasn't on a fertility med, they just said, oh, you have PCOS. So we really don't know if I have PCOS or not. We're assuming so because of the fact that I haven't been getting pregnant and there was cysts on the ovaries. Excuse me. But we don't know because they did it during a fertility round. And I didn't think that it was a smart idea to do it during the fertility treatment. I think it would have been better if I wasn't on anything. So they could have got a for sure, you know, pretty much answer. So anyway, I did that, and then they decided to put me on Fermera, which they said works better for PCOS patients anyway. Actually, before they put me on Fermera, sorry. So they said I had PCOS, so they put me on metformin. And then I did the metformin for about a month, and then they put me on Fermera, and then so now I do metformin and Fermera. They started me out with a 2.5 milligram Fermera. These 4 through 8 is what I did the very first time I took it, and then the month after that, which was this last cycle I just did, they did 5 milligrams days 3 through 7. I made a phone call to them today. I'm in my 2-week wait right now, but I made a phone call in for them today to say if I didn't get pregnant this month, I would like them to bump the dose up again to either 7.5 or 10 milligrams per day to give me a better chance of trying to conceive. I just turned 30 and I'm starting to worry. You know, and with going with, oh, and I switched donors. That was another thing. I switched donors back a few months ago. I did 3 cycles with this donor that I'm currently with right now. I did that because the sperm count doesn't, or sperm analysis or whatnot doesn't, it's not something I can take care of. That would be something he would have to take care of, and since I don't know whether his semen are good or not, I just decided I'm going to switch donors. Both donors have children, so I know at one point their stuff worked good, but between mixing my DNA and his, and like whatnot, sometimes there can be an issue. So I don't know. I know I have an issue with being kind of dry down there some months. Since they put me on Fermera, it hasn't been an issue actually, but my pH is a little different than it was. So the doctor said that could be, you know, a problem, but I just started using Pre-Seed, which is supposed to like even it out a little bit. So we'll see. And I use soft cups to keep the goods in there. So with this new donor, I've been mostly doing artificial insemination, where he does it in a cup, and then I lay flat and like elevate my bum, and then put it in with a syringe, and then lie there for about an hour, and then I'll put a soft cup in to keep everything in there, and I keep that in for 12 or a little over 12 hours, and sleep with it in. Like I said, I haven't had any luck yet, but I'm feeling hopeful for this, and I am 4 DPO right now, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, hopefully that sums it up, and you got a little bit of who I am and what I have going on, and yeah, continue my journey. If I get any positive tests or whatnot, I'll probably do live pregnancy tests. I might just do live ones anyway and just have you guys find out when I do and see my reaction. I'll probably cry, especially if it becomes positive. I don't know. I might even cry when it's negative because I'm just so bummed out about it. I'm so tired of seeing negative tests. So when I first started getting pregnant, I did castor oil packs, which is the castor oil, and you put a cloth on, and then you put a heating pad on, or a plastic bag on it, and then a heating pad. Look it up. There's plenty of YouTube tutorials on castor oil packs and their benefit to thickening the lining, and I really do feel like that helped. But yeah, and then the cassava root is another one, and I don't know why I stopped doing all those cassava root and castor oil packs, but I definitely think that if I didn't get pregnant this cycle, I'm going to start doing that again. It was when I started taking fertility meds that I stopped doing all the extra stuff. I just figured out these fertility pills should be good enough. You know, why do I need to do all this million other things I've been doing? So, I'm hoping that that will help. But I think with taking the Femera, the metformin, and the folic acid, I think that, yeah, I'll start doing the castor oil packs again. And I'll start eating cassava root. And hopefully that'll make me produce more eggs. And, you know, hopefully if I end up with twins, I'm not going to be sad about it. I mean, I've been trying to get pregnant for a very long time, so that'll be fine. I'm fine with 1, 2, you know, hopefully not 3, but if it happens, you know, God's plan is God's plan, and I'm hoping that, you know, He'll bless me with at least 1. So I will talk to y'all later, and just keep thumbs up and hit that bell notification so you can get updated if I post any more videos, and I'm sure I will. I have a few other things I want to go over in maybe another video. And yeah, I think I covered a lot of stuff today though, so hopefully you didn't get too bored watching all this and learning about me and my journey so far. Alright, thank you guys. Have a nice day.